Hi, I didn't see you there. And welcome back with another Cooking with Paris. So today we have a special episode, maybe gonna be an hour long because what we're doing is cooking our Christmas dinner. You guys are gonna come along with me while I make amazing Christmas dinner. We have two special guests here today with me. You might see them pop up in the camera in and out, but that's okay. It's Christmas dinner and it's family's supposed to be around. Enough about that. So what we're going to start with on this video is we're going to start with our dressing. So I want to go ahead and mention to whoever's making their dressing from scratch, you want to use a few days old bread. I would say maybe 3 or 2 days old bread. You like it the drier, the better. So what we did was already prepare our bread. So that part is not going to be in the video. You can make it using the method with the meal. You can make it using the method with the Jiffy Mix, which is what I did because I like my dressing to have a tad bit of sweetness to it. Or you can buy dried bread out of the store, whatever the case may be. Remember, it's dressing, not stuffing, so it is a bit different. But if you don't know how to make it, stick around. I'm going to show you how. Hi, and we're back. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start by prepping our vegetables to make our dressing. So we've already cooked our bread. So now what we're going to start doing is cutting up our celery, onions, and bell pepper. So what I like to do is cut my celery, bell pepper, and onions down really small. You can use one whole onion, one stalk of celery, and then not one whole stalk of celery, and one whole bell pepper. But this personally, I think it's by your choice. What do you want to use? Because this is what goes into your broth. Because we make our broth for our dressing homemade. We don't pour chicken stock. We want to have full control of our seasonings and flavor because it defines your dressing taste. So we make it from scratch, and that's what this is used for. We also will take some of this celery, bell pepper, and onion and put it into our dressing. So that's why we cut it really, really small. So that way, people won't get a big chunk of celery, bell pepper, and onion. So once we're done cooking our vegetables, what I like to do in the very same pan I'm making my dressing in, I cook my bread, and I go ahead and I start to crumble the bread up in the pan. Because I had it in the refrigerator, it's a bit hard, so I had to take some kitchen utensil to just kind of get in there. And we just want to get our bread nice and crumbled up really good before we pour our stock into our bread. Now, one of the things I also want to mention that's very important is we're going to be boiling a hen to make our stock. I'm going to show you the kind that I use. You guys use whatever you like. Don't forget that on our channel. These are just recommendations. You don't have to follow it to the T. We're going to use a Cornish hen. This is the brand here. Anybody that's curious, you can just pause that there. And that's what we're going to boil. We're going to boil 2 of those, and that's how we are going to get our flavor. Okay, guys, I did end up moving it to a bowl. I felt like this was more easier for me to break it down really, really good like I want to. So next what I want to go to is how we season our chicken broth. The only thing that we are going to use is our all-purpose seasoning, onion powder, and garlic powder, and our poultry butter. Now next I want to show you guys something else. We're just going to season the vegetables first using those seasonings, and then we're going to go in over here and we're going to season our Cornish hens. So what we're going to do instead of a whole turkey, we're going to do turkey wings. We're going to obviously see that later. And this is the hen. These are Cornish hens. How we're going to season them is I laid them out on a pan, and I got 2 of them here already washed and clean. And I'm just going to go in with some onion powder. I use the small side, and I'm just going to season every inch of the back, just like this. Oh, this is strong. And then we're going to go over with our seasoned salt in the same way. And we're just going to take our garlic powder and do the same thing with every seasoning across its back. Excuse me. And so we're just gonna turn it around and we're gonna season the chest, stomach, inside of the wings the same way. We want to make sure we get it seasoned really good. We're also gonna season our vegetables with the same seasonings. Alright, you guys, so we're just going to fill our pot with water, season it with those same seasonings while it has our vegetables in it. And then we're going to turn that pot on and we're going to wait until that water is hot and boiling. And then we're going to start adding in our Cornish hens. While waiting on that, what we're going to start doing is cutting up our bell peppers and onions to go in our turkey wings. We're not going to use the green ones. This is the only ones we're going to use, with some onions, and of course I'll show you that process later. Is boiling. We're gonna work on our green beans. So I like to use fresh green beans. I get them from Publix. They come in this bag. They're not already snapped or anything, so that's what we're working on, just getting our green beans prepared, and we're gonna put them in a boil. So after we have washed our green beans really good, I just snap the ends off them and snap them in half. Depending on the size, if they're long like this, I snap them in half. If they're not, then I don't. Alright, so I just took some of that broth out of our Cornish hen, and I'm just going to take a ladle and I'm going to just scoop it up. I don't want to get it over our seasonings and wash the seasonings off of the chicken. So I'm just taking it and getting it on the edge of the pan. And just getting that broth in there nice and good. Make sure it's all in there so you have that extra flavor from that broth that we made on our own, our homemade broth instead of the kind you can buy from the store. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our turkey wings and we're going to cover them up with a foil. And then what we're going to do is cook them in that foil for about an hour, and then we're going to remove the foil, and for 30 minutes we're going to cook them open so they can get that crust that everybody loves so much, and we're just going to baste them to keep them moist while we cook for that 30 minutes. So now that our hen has cooked for an hour and the broth is ready and the hens are done, I set the hens aside. I use them for lunchtime because when you're cooking and you have kids, it's very helpful to have something prepared for lunch, and that's what I use those hens for. Now, what I like to do is take a little bit at a time and go ahead and drench down that dressing, just so we can have full control of that moisture, and we're just going to give it a stir, and if we need more, we'll add it, okay? So we're just going to give it a good mix after we put our first bowl, boiler, whatever you want to call it, of broth in there, and then I'm going to drench it again because you see there's still some dry areas. It's not too moist. We just want to slowly add our broth because no one likes a soggy dressing, okay? You just want to get it to a good consistency. I'm going to just add our all in there. And then we're going to just take our spoon and we're going to slowly get it all mixed around in there nice and good. I wish you guys could smell it. It smells amazing. And because this is cooked wet bread, basically, you can taste it and make sure you don't need to add any seasonings. Make sure your broth was well seasoned. It's okay to add seasonings to your dressing directly if it needs it, and just get it in there mixed really well. Okay, you guys? Alright, guys, once you get it all mixed in, your broth mixed into the consistency that you like, you're going to throw your dressing in the oven. I'm going to do mine for an hour, so if you're doing it basically exactly at the consistency of mine, the mixture, the size of mine, then I would watch the video and finish it and make sure I didn't have to cook it anymore. But as of right now, from what I'm seeing, it only needs an hour to cook, and this is the consistency that we went for. Alright, so next, you guys, we're going to start on our ham. So I like to take my ham off the bone. You guys don't have to do that. That's just what I like to do. So once you get the ham off the bone or on the bone, you're going to add it to the pan, and then you're going to go in with some pineapples. You can use fresh pineapples if that's your choice, but I like to use canned pineapples. Work smarter, not harder. We're also going to use the juice in the can. So what we're going to do is I get these brand of pineapples. You can get whatever brand you like. So next, what we're going to do after we open our pineapples is we're going to take half of the juice and pour it on the base of our ham, and then we're going to pour the rest in a boiler. In that boiler, we're going to mix together some honey and some brown sugar. I like to use the dark brown sugar because it tends to be a bit sweeter. You can use a light brown if you like, but that's just how I mix it up. So I'm going to cover the bottom of the boiler with the honey, and then I'm going to take 2 teaspoons of our dark brown sugar, and I'm just going to put it into our mixture. And then I'm also going to take some of this brown sugar, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top of our base here as well. Okay? Okay, so now on a separate pan, we have ham, and we're going to add on the pan our mustard. So honestly, I'm just going to use my hand and just take some here and just rub the ham down with this mustard here. Also adds more flavor and moistness to our ham. Don't worry, it's not going to taste like mustard, you guys. So do not worry. We're just going to get in there, open up the flaps of our ham if you haven't cutting it, and if you have cut it, we're just going to move it around a little bit. So also, guys, in that mixture, there's a packet that comes with your ham. I also added a little bit of that packet just to thicken up our sauce that we made earlier, and we added heat to, and we just set it aside. Here it is now. It's not as thick as I would like, but it doesn't need to be as super thick, so it's okay. It's gonna cool down. Another thing I want to add to our ham is our Dijon mustard as well. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the, a lot of the Dijon mustard and just squirt it on top of the ham like that. And then we're gonna go in and just rub it down, and then we're gonna start applying our ham into our pan. And alright, you guys, all we did was just put the sauce that we made as we put our layers with some pineapples, and we're just gonna finish it off with some brown sugar. Now for the fun part, our sauce for our mac and cheese. So first we're gonna start by melting a tablespoon of butter in the pan. I know normally you see people, they make a roux first, and they melt the tablespoon of butter and add flour, and then they wait till it's caramel brown. I know about all that. I know how to do that. However, I don't do that with my mac and cheese because if you add the cheese in the pan, that's gonna make it thick on its own, and I don't like mine to be too thick, so I do not make a roux with mine. So once you get that butter nice and melted, my hands are washed, by the way, you're gonna go in with your heavy whipping cream. That's gonna be the base for your sauce, okay? All right, so pour heavy whipping cream into the pan. Once we pour the heavy whipping cream into the pan to start the base of our sauce, once again, I do want to mention I'm not shredding any cheese. However, it does melt better if you shred it. You can buy block cheese in the same brand as this already shredded cheese. But however, I prefer 2 kids and myself, and this tastes pretty good. So for the moms out there, it tastes pretty good. You don't have to stand around shredding the cheese all day on the holidays. Well, these are the types of cheese that I'm going to add in my sauce, and I just take a pinch like this, fill my hand up just about right here, and I do 2 of those. That's my measurements. I don't know how helpful that is, but that's how I measure mine. And I just take it around the pan like that with these 3 types of cheese, okay? So after I'm done seasoning with my garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, and my, I think it's called mustard, ground mustard here, we're gonna go in with the pasta water. Remember, we added salt to our pasta water, and we're just gonna take that pasta water and we're gonna add that to our mixture here because it's really thick. Once again, because of the cheese, like I said, you guys see that here? It's thick. We didn't need to make a roux. And we're going to just slowly add pasta water to kind of thin it out. And we're going to add a little bit of milk. So I just wanted to show you guys the process while I was making this. I took out the dressing. It only had to cook for an hour. And now we have uncovered our turkey wings. This is what they look like as of now. And we're going to just go ahead and add our ham into the oven for an hour while we baste these for 30 minutes or 45. So once you're done seasoning your mac and cheese and everything is to your liking, you're going to take a dish. I'm using this glass dish here. And you're just going to pour your mac and cheese mixture all into this pan. I'm just going to scoop it in there like that. Can y'all see how cheesy it is? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love it. Y'all, my favorite thing to eat is mac and cheese. So, of course, I'm going to perfect my mac and cheese, you guys. I've had it. I used to make it with shredded cheese when I used to make mac and cheese a lot. Before I started trying to lose weight and stepping back from the mac and cheese. I used to make it with the shredded cheese a lot, and then like from scratch. And then I switched over to not shredding it because it requires so much to shred it because I had the hand shredder instead of the new model shredders that's out now. And then we're gonna add to this on top of it with a little paprika just for some color. I'm just gonna add a little bit because as you can see, my macaroni and cheese is already good and cheesy, so I'm just gonna add that to give it a little darker. We're gonna go in and get our paprika here. And we're just gonna sprinkle that for some color on top of our mac and cheese. We don't want to ruin the flavor by over sprinkling our paprika. Okay. And we're gonna throw this in the oven for about 30 minutes, you guys. I don't want to tilt it too much, but hopefully you guys can see that there. It looks amazing. Alright guys, so we haven't forgotten about our our green beans and our potatoes. So once you boil the potatoes and green beans separately, you're gonna go ahead when they're both soft and take them off, drain the water, and you're gonna season them using these seasonings. Of course, my favorite seasonings: onion powder, garlic powder, and then you're gonna do some salt and pepper. I'm very heavy-handed with the seasonings when I season my green beans because my green beans just tend to not love flavor, so I really have to give it to them. And I don't know if I mentioned, you're also gonna add a half a stick of butter to the pot as well, and you're gonna cook it on the stove with some minced garlic. Okay. All right, you guys, time for everybody's favorite part, the plating. Oh, that ham smells so good, you guys. All right, you guys, and there's the mac and cheese. I do have my little 2 taste testers with me, and this ham, they definitely approve of. So we're gonna let you guys get a good look here of this ham. It is nice and juicy. So we're just gonna grab us a piece here from the bottom where the juices are. Get us a good juicy piece here. And we're just gonna plate that. I'm gonna take some of this here and pass it along. I'm just gonna keep a piece, a big piece, and then just give them some. Alright, so next my favorite after the ham is the mac and cheese. So it's still good and hot. We're gonna just cut down a little piece here. Pick it up. Between our ooey gooey mac and cheese, and we're gonna sit that right there. Delicious. Alright, next what I want to go in and get is a turkey wing. Get that turkey wing. And lastly, we're get some of our dressing and our beans. So here's our green beans and mashed potatoes when it's done. Mix it together and season it, you guys. And just add a spoon of that on our plate. We don't have room for dressing. Oh my goodness. Get more greens there. Try to make the plate a little healthier. And lastly, we're going to serve our dressing. Oh my god, the mac and cheese is so good, you guys. I have to try it. I just want you to see how pretty it is before I cut into it. It is so good. I tried a little piece. You cut where I tried it out. My daughter's been jumping up and down trying to get the dressing. So we're just going to give her some too while we serve ourselves. We're just going to break that. And we're going to take a piece of that dressing there. Here's my favorite part. Only time of the year I can have dressing. I just wanted to give you guys a full view of that plate. Oh my god, like when I tell you this mac and cheese is amazing. It is so amazing. The ham is good. The dressing is good. And for my ones who are wondering about the turkey, I wanted to bust it open just so you guys can see. It is still good. It is tasty. It's done. It's moist. It comes right off the bone.